Good morning, everyone. My name is Julie. I am the owner and founder of Lady Fault Eyes Apothecary. We are here this morning to talk about the new moon in Virgo. So sorry, thought I turned off my sound for that stuff, but I guess I did not. And so, yeah, we're here this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about the new moon in Virgo. We touched base on it real quick on Monday morning. Every Monday morning, I do a forecast video. Like, what's missing? Let's see. This might make it worse. Whoa! We definitely got to go down on color there. All right, I think that's okay. I don't think it was much different than it was. But, so yeah, I touched base a little bit on our Monday morning weekly forecast, which is like the Cliff Notes version of the astrology for the week. So today we're going to just touch a little bit more on the astrology, and then I'm going to go over some of the things that you can do or tools that you can use during the new moon. So a little bit about Virgo. If you have not watched my astrology videos, I have a video on all 12 of the astrology signs. I can put a link in the comments for the Virgo one for anybody that is interested at the end of this video. But Virgos are very much about being in service. That is like their biggest thing. Sorry, the dog is barking because somebody's walking by. They are very much self-aware, though. They are self-accuracy, self-improvement. They're very just aware of their beings. They can also be either one extreme or the other on health. Either they are extremely healthy, they're very picky about what they eat, making sure they get enough rest, making sure they get enough water. So they're very, very health conscious, or they are usually on the other end, which they don't pay any attention to their health at all. And they kind of worry about everybody else, and they pay attention to themselves last. So there's it's usually either one end of the spectrum or the other. There's like usually not much in between. So again, they are very self-aware though, and they are usually about self-improvement. They also can be very patient, very tolerant, but the big one is they're also very devoted. So that's that self-awareness, that being in service, being in service. They're very devoted. They are, it sounds weird to say, but they're really here to serve. And if they feel like they are serving someone, especially as someone who appreciates it, they will be devoted to you, and they will want to be in service to you for forever. Yeah, that's basically the energy that we're going to be feeling, is that wanting to be in service, wanting to help someone, wanting to feel appreciated is part of it as well. Virgo also is part of a lot of people don't think of it this way, but Virgo is really one of the healer group zodiacs. They're very earth grounded, spiritual people, and they are natural healers. And a lot of times that part gets kind of overshadowed, doesn't really get talked about too much. But they just do it, and I don't think a lot of times they even realize that they're doing it. It's part of that being in service of people, that they're helping people heal. So they can also be natural helpers of eliminating and absorbing what helps us or what doesn't help us. So, and that covers body, mind, and spirit. So, eliminate what doesn't help us and absorb what does help us. So, that's part of the Virgo sign as well. So, with that, you'll see a little bit of, as we go along here, there's going to be, it kind of all ties in. So during the new moon, we are going to be manifesting. So we want to absorb what is going to be helping us. And so that's kind of some of the energy that we're going to be working with there. I already talked about the healthy part. During this new moon, it's going to be a good time to re-examine your routine. So again, it's eliminating and absorbing, right? So during the new moon, our biggest thing is about calling in, but we can always work on eliminating things that no longer serve us as well. But as I was saying earlier, as far as your routine and being healthy, do you drink enough water? Do you go to bed and get enough sleep? Are you eating healthy? So those are all some things that you might want to reevaluate and kind of think about where you are with that. It's that that natural energy of the Virgo right now. So it's a really good time to do that for yourself. Let's see here. Sorry, noise everywhere. I turned off all the sound on my phone, but apparently my computer is still going to be making noise. And a little tidbit in there to add is during this new moon, it's also going to be square off to Mars in Gemini. So a little bit of energy that might be coming through there for you is your feelings may not be aligned to your actions. So kind of you're not walking the talk kind of thing there. So that could lead to some conflict and some anger for you over the next couple of days while that's happening. And Mars in Gemini doesn't always like to be totally truthful. So be aware of that. And whether it's you or someone else. So, that's one of the things I like to try to remind people, that we have to be aware of what we're doing and how we're reacting to these energies. But we really have to remember how other people are going to be affected by the same energy as well. And they don't have this information. They don't have this aid to help them. And so, they're not watching for those things. And if they're just letting the energies just do what the energies want to do, they might not be being completely truthful with you. So, it goes for ways we can improve for ourselves, but it's also keeping an eye out for that energy, how that energy is going to affect other people. So, per se, your partner in life doesn't have this information. They didn't watch this video. They didn't watch any other videos about astrology. You didn't talk to them about it and stuff. They're not going to be prepared for this energy that's going to be coming through. So, that's a good thing for us to be aware of when that energy happens. And we might feel like, I think he might have fibbed there a little bit, or I don't think he told me the whole truth, or whatever. And just remember, it's the energy of the day. So, yeah. So, like I said, Virgo, the biggest thing is being in service and healing and being devoted. Those are the three big things that I take away from Virgo. So, being in service, healing, and being devoted. So, I think those are all really good qualities to have. So those are some of the big ones that are going to be coming through for us. But again, there might be a few other little things. Like I said, you might be feeling very health conscious, and you might be like, oh, I haven't been drinking enough water. I haven't been getting enough sleep. That is me right now. I have not been drinking enough water. I have not been going to bed on time. I have not been eating healthy at all lately with my busy schedule, and I need to be much better at that. Or you may, again, be on the other end of the spectrum and just not really care and decide all of a sudden you're going to just go eat fast food and junk food for the next couple of days. So, whatever way it affects you, Depends on the placements of your chart and all kinds of other information. Neither way is neither way is necessarily good or bad. It's just something to be aware of for you. So, all right, so we're going to move over to some of the things that you can use during this new moon. I don't do ritual. They're online. I don't do ritual. I do ritual myself, but I don't do it online. There are a bazillion videos you can watch on YouTube of people doing rituals and live rituals and all of that. And I prefer my ritual time to be a little bit more personal. So I like to do it at my own time, at my own pace, in my own way. So if you are also like that, I have some ideas of things that you could incorporate into your ritual if you so choose. So, and usually I go over the same things each new moon and each full moon. Yeah. So the first thing I usually talk about is an affirmation. So an affirmation is a positive saying that you say over and over and over again to yourself. It's a really good time to say it like while you're brushing your teeth in your head, or stirring your coffee. Things like that that you have to do during your day that, you're really not really doing much of anything else during that time. So it's a really good time to work on affirmations. One of the things I like to do is write them on a sticky note and put them on the bathroom mirror, or put them, somewhere like, stick it on the coffee pot, stick it on the refrigerator door, whatever, or while you're driving to work, maybe you could say your affirmations. Like I said, just pick some time that you really can't be doing too much else at the same time. So the affirmation I picked for this full moon, new moon in Virgo, is I find happiness in taking small steps towards being in service to the world. And there's somebody outside singing, and I'm pretty sure it's not my husband. So, and I will type that in the comments for you. So if you are interested in that affirmation, because it's kind of a long one, but I will put that in the comments here. Let me see. I find happiness. Can't spell. Happiness Yep, this is why I should have done it after. Small steps towards being in service to the world. All right, I can't promise there's no typos in there because I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see it. All right, so the next thing that you might want to work with is a tarot card. And again, reminder, my tarot card is not a typical tarot deck. It is a very different kind of tarot cards, but they fit my personality and I love them. Is the Hermit. So in the name of this deck, if anyone is interested, because somebody usually asks, is Tarot de la Nuit. So Tarot of the Night. And the pictures on them are just exquisite and amazing, and kind of on the dark, shadowy side, Scorpio stuff. My husband was just going to come in. Scorpio kind of a vibe, I think. So the shadowy side, but I really like them. So the Hermit. And I will post a picture of this on my Facebook page and in the group if it's something you want to work with. If you have your own deck, you can certainly pick a card, the Hermit card from your own deck, or you can also just go onto Google and type in the Hermit tarot card and get an image. One of the things I like to do is make them my screensaver on my phone so that they're constantly popping up, because we're constantly on our phones. So that way you can work with the image as long as you want. And then usually, after a couple of days, I either switch it to an oracle card picture that we're working with during the week or whatever, to a different image. Maybe sometimes it's for the high holidays, I might pick an image, but I like to work with my phone. You can put it as a screensaver on your computer. There's all kinds of ways. You can, one of the other things I really like is if you go get a cheap picture frame from like the dollar store and decorate it, make it personal for you, paint it whatever color you want. So if you want pink and glitter and butterflies, do that. If you want black and spiders and stuff like that, do it that way. If you want seashells, whatever. And then you can print out the pictures and put them in the frame and work with them that way. Put the picture on an altar space is a really nice thing to do as well. So there's lots of ways you can work with the images if you don't have a deck, but I will try my best to remember to get a picture of this up on my Facebook page. I'll put it right there so I don't forget. So the picture of the Hermit, the reason the Hermit goes with the Virgo sign is because they are seeking clarity, they are seeking knowledge, and the big one, they are seeking perfection. So that ties back to that Virgo of self-improvement and always trying to be better at things. So in clarity and knowledge and perfection is all going to do that and help. Sorry, now my phone's popping up things. So that is why the Hermit is a good card to work with during Virgo time. All right, so some archetypes that you can work with. And again, just go ahead and if there's any of the archetypes that you want to work with, go ahead and Google it and then click images, and anything that comes up that resonates with you. Again, you can print it out and put it in a frame. You can make it your screensaver. You can make it your wallpaper on your phone, whatever you choose to do to work with that image. The first one is the healer. So like I was saying, Virgo, that whole healer aspect of things tends to get forgotten. My Harry Potter cup. It's been washed so many times, the picture's not really there anymore. So the healer, and like I said, that tends to kind of just get forgotten in the Virgo, but it is a very big part of the Virgo is being a natural healer for you. So you may want to work with that archetype. And again, the healer is all about seeking alignment. So some of the other ones you might want to work with during Virgo, new moon is Hermes is a good one to work with. Chiron is a good one to work with. Artemis and Persephone. And so those are all ones you can either, like I said, just Google them and get some pictures. You can certainly go out and buy, figurines and statues, or sometimes you can find candles of the gods, things like that. But, if you don't want to go spend a whole lot of money, or if you don't want 52 different statues around your house, images is a really good way to work with them. And that's the way that I work with them. I do have a few actual statues of some of the bigger ones that I work with. But then the other ones that I work with during new moons and full moons, I usually just work with the images. And I like to put them on my phone, but you do what calls to you. So some of the stones you might want to work with is moss agate. Moss agate is about grounding and healing and connecting with Gaia. So again, there's that healing aspect in there for you. Sugilite is another one you might want to work with, and sugilite is for healing and protection. And shungite, one I wear pretty much all the time. Shungite is about releasing what no longer is serving us. It's also really great. One of the big reasons I wear it is it's really great as a protective stone, but it's also really great as detoxifying. So that's one of the reasons I wear it. So purifying is kind of the detoxifying. So releasing and purifying of things that we don't want anymore. All right. And you can certainly work with other healer stones or grounding stones. There's numerous other, ones out there that you can work with during this time, but those are just a couple that I picked. Some of the herbs slash oils, I don't make a different list because you can really work with any of these any way that you want. If you want to work with herbs, if you want to work with oils, if you want to work with incense, if you want to work with teas, if you want to work making a bath salt, however you want to do it, there's really no wrong or right or wrong way for that for you. So some of the herbs slash oils that I picked, the first one is pink peppercorn. Actually, I really like pink peppercorn, not necessarily by itself, but I find when I mix it in a lot of other blends and put just a little bit into it, it gives it a nice little kick, I guess. I actually like to put it in my deodorant sprays because I think it gives it that nice little extra something. I'm not a big florally person, so I don't really tend to like a lot of the floral smells, but pink peppercorn is actually kind of one of my favorites, I guess. And it's all about purifying and boosting your connection to spirit. So, but really, I picked it for that purifying. So again, we're purifying, we're detoxifying, we're healing, all of those good things. Cedarwood is one I picked. And the reason I actually picked cedarwood is because my husband is a Virgo and cedarwood is like one of his favorite smells ever. So I just thought it was very fitting that is actually a scent that is associated with Virgo. And it's all about grounding and safeguarding. So again, we're seeing a theme here of all this same stuff. And amber is another one. And amber would be a resin. But you can get amber oil if you want. Is about repelling anything dark. So anything that just is not in our best interest, amber is going to be working on repelling that. I wrote a side note here, which I just noticed. Back to sugilite. I wrote a little side note. Sugilite is one of those stones that is going to help protect the healer while doing healer work. So if you're getting that Virgo energy of being a healer and working with sugilite, is going to help protect you while you're doing that healing work. So that is actually something really important. A lot of times healers are so focused on healing that they forget to either ground, they forget to put up their bubble, they forget to release negative energy, they forget to do self-care things. So sugilite is a really good stone for healers to work with. And over to colors. So colors are pretty general, obviously. There's lots of different ways you can work with colors. You can, if you're making an altar space, you could use a piece of cloth as your altar mat. You could work with candles that color. You could work with stones that color. There's all kinds of ways you can bring color in. And these two, I think, are super easy to bring things in this color. Virgo's colors are green for growth and brown for grounding. And so you can really just go outside and pick up some pine cones, pick up some leaves, some moss, a rock, pretty much anything out in nature and find some really nice stuff to put on your altar space if you choose to. All right, so just a couple of things left. I usually like to mention a journal question. And if you guys have watched my videos for a while, you'll know I am not a journaler, but I do like to sit and spend time with a question like this. So I don't write it out, but I do process through the questions. So the journal question is, where are you feeling called? All right, so the journal question is, where are you feeling called to heal? And that may be within yourself, that may be for someone else, that may be within your relationship. So really sit and think about where you're feeling called to put your attention, to put your healing powers to put your energy into. So that is the journal prompt question. And the last thing I usually talk about is some sort of little craft that you can do. And, we've talked about everything from making water bowls and moon jars, and I can't even tell you all the things that we have made. If you're interested in crafting, you can go back and watch some of my older videos, and just, you can forward if you don't want to watch the whole thing to the crafting part. Most of those crafting videos, I think, are in the high holiday video section, but they may be in the new moon and full moon videos as well. I can't remember, but I just found it really hard to go over the energies and then go over this stuff and then do a craft on top of that. So it just made the videos really too long to do. So what I do is usually just kind of give you the idea and let you guys run with it if you want. So this craft is a simmer pot. Super easy. I love doing them at this time of year. I pretty much do one the end of August right through till probably Christmas, really. Sometimes even longer. I do them because I just absolutely love having them. The smell in the house is amazing, and it's so natural smelling. It's not like, a spray, although I do make natural linen sprays, which I do use on my couch because, there's just smells. But if I want more of an overall fragrance in the house, simmer pots are definitely my go-to. So I wrote down some suggestions of things that you can put in your simmer pot. So you can put all of these things, which might be a little too much, or you can just pick and choose, or you can just go through your kitchen cupboard and see what you have and what you don't have. Apple slices. So if you have an apple, like if you have an apple tree, or you have an apple that's got some brown spots and you're not going to eat it, I suggest slicing it really thin and then laying it out on a paper towel. And after a little while, flip it, or you can dehydrate it in your oven if you want, dry it out that way, but it does take forever to do that. But I usually just slice it, put it on a paper towel or a napkin, and a day or two, flip it over, let the other side dry. So that's super easy to do. And my parents have an apple tree, and they have tons of apples that just fall on the ground. So I can usually go over there and just pick a bunch of apples up off the ground, because nobody's going to eat those besides the deer, and do that and slice them up. And then usually what I do is I dry a whole bunch and I put them in little baggies. So when I need a new apple for my simmer pot, I can just pull out the next baggie and dump it and be done. Also do that with orange slices. If you have an orange that's, not going to be eaten for whatever reason, those I don't dry. Those I usually slice up, put in a bag, and put them in the freezer. And so if I want to use orange in my simmer pot, I just pull the bag out of, I make up maybe 4 or 5 slices in each bag and put those in the freezer. And then when it's time, I can just pull those out and dump them into the simmer pot. So you can use dried apples. You can use pretty much any one of the citrus. So if you want to use orange, if you want to use lemon, if you want to use lime, any of those you can use. Another thing, if you don't want to use the whole lemon or the whole orange, if you're going to actually eat the orange, you can zest the peel if you want. Other things that I have done, because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time zesting a peel, is I just take the peel and let it set out just like the apple, put it on a paper towel, let it set, let it dry. And then after it's dry, you can kind of crumble it and break it. And I use the peels that way as well. And I can just throw them in the simmer pot when I want them. So super easy stuff, and my big thing is like, we're trying not to be wasteful. So if you eat the orange, then keep the peel to use for your simmer pot. I have made apple crisp, where I peel the apple and then I will keep some of the apple peel for the simmer pots. So, try to just not be wasteful if you don't need to be. Some of the other things you can use, one of my favorites to put in is a bay leaf, or I usually put in 3 because I put in 3 of everything usually. You could put in some ginger. You can put in some powdered ginger if you have it. I prefer to actually take ginger and peel it and put the peels in. And then you can use the actual ginger root for whatever you're going to use. Some people put it in drinking water, cooking, whatever. So again, use that peel and don't waste it, and put it in your simmer pot. You can put a little bit of rosemary, fresh or dried, either is fine. You can put some thyme, again, fresh or dried, either way is fine. You can put in some cardamom. Cinnamon sticks is one of my favorite to put in there. Pretty much any simmer pot I have has got cinnamon sticks in it. My absolute favorite to put in simmer pot is clove. And usually I put in like a handful. I usually fill up my hand and dump a whole thing of clove in there. So I go through a lot of clove. You could also put in some juniper berries, some nutmeg. Again, you can use the powdered nutmeg. I don't prefer to put the powdered stuff in. It makes the water kind of goopy and thick. So I try to stay away from the powder, but you can, if you want, sprinkle a little bit of the powdered stuff in there. Another one, if you like the smell, usually if I put it in, I usually just put in one, but you could put in some star anise in there if you wanted. That one I usually do a little bit more towards Christmas time, and not so much during fall and harvest time. You could put some rose petals in there. Vanilla bean you could put in there, although vanilla beans are quite expensive, so maybe not. You can put some vanilla extract in the water if you wanted to. That would be fine. You can also put essential oils in your water. Again, I try to kind of stay away from that in my simmer pots. I like to use actually just water and the actual ingredients. But, you know, like I said, there's no right or wrong way. You can certainly mix it up. You could put some pine sprigs or some cedar sprigs or something like that. So typically what I try to do is I try to pick up ones that the branches have fallen to the ground. So if we've had a windy day and I see that there's a branch down on the ground, I will go over and pick it up and take it with me and bring it in the house and keep the pine needles off it. The other thing is we have a cedar tree that is by our front porch. And every year when the snow falls off the roof, a lot of the branches actually get broken and damaged. So usually late fall before it snows, I will go out and trim all those branches in that spot. Yes, I'm cutting the tree, but I'm actually helping it because I'm cutting where it's going to fall and break the branches off. So I try to cut those instead of having the branches get broken off by the snow. So yeah, you can really put in pretty much anything that you find in nature, any kind of flowers you want to put in there. But for the fall time, I like to stick to the apples, the bay leaves, the cinnamon sticks, the clove. Those are pretty much my go-to in the fall time. So, but again, pick whatever you really want. And the other thing is, you know, you could do an added touch of using moon water for it. So maybe I will put a jar out tonight and have it charged by the new moon. And then I will use that water in my simmer pot. So I've done a couple videos on, or probably a couple videos on simmer pots. They're not super exciting to make. They don't take real long. I use an old pot that the bottom is all scraped off of it so that it's really not good for cooking anymore, but it's just a little pot, and I put it on the warmer burner on my oven. You can put them on top of, put them in a big pot and put it on top of a wood burning stove is a really great way to do it. You can put them, if you have a Scentsy burner, you can put all that stuff. You wouldn't be able to put much, but you could put all that stuff in the little cup part and turn the Scentsy burner on that way. So if you don't, if you're not comfortable with leaving your stove on, because I have like left it on all night. Thankfully, never had any issues, but sometimes I forget to turn it off. But yeah, so that is basically simmer pot in a nutshell. So if you guys do make a simmer pot, I would love for you to tell me what you put in it, or post a picture of it for me, either here on YouTube or over on Facebook. I love it when people post things in the group because I think it kind of, gives other people ideas to go ahead. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. And as always, remember to be kind. Your kindness is not only going to improve your day, it's going to improve somebody else's day, and it could potentially change someone's life for the better. Thanks for watching. Bye. She's at.